is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 43. My name is Zach Graham, your host here on the North End Podcast, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud. We call him E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Easterdamus, a.k.a. Pappy O'Daniel, a.k.a. The Fashionista, a.k.a. Chili Willy, a.k.a. Eon Stonkel. Sunday evening here, beautiful Austin, Texas. Fresh off a belated birthday party last night for our boy AG, so shout out to him. That was fun. We caught some MLS action. We played a little FIFA. We got into a little debauchery. How are you feeling today, my friend? Because I'm a little tired. I can't lie.
I'm dead. I am exhausted. Yeah. Well, the night before that, so Alex Ring, he was in Finland. Mm-hmm. Valencia was in Vegas. Mm-hmm. He was in Inks Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was up at Inks Lake for a little
bye week.
Yep, I'm taking advantage of the bye week. Decompression at my favorite campsite. I camped up there Friday night. Just one night. Me and my pup, and my friend Mitch brought his dog as well. And I woke up at the camp. Obviously, broke everything down on Saturday morning, and then got back and tried to rest a little bit before the party, but I still definitely have not recovered. Yeah, I'm really fucking tired.
Yeah, I know. Before you came and met up with us, I think you texted me like, "Well, what's going on?" I just woke up from a nap that was entirely too long, or longer than you intended. So, it all worked out in the end. I don't know if you noticed, there's an extra nickname on your introduction there today. Mm-hmm. What's the grade on that? What do you give me for that one? I know you're not a fan of the Drew Carey.
I love it. I mean,
the Fashionista.
It's apt. It's topical.
I thought so.
I got onto Discord a long time ago. We're really gonna expose ourselves here.
All right.
Some fucking cockatrice.
Oh yeah. Playing a little MTG there during the pandemic, I assume.
Yeah, my name there was High Fashion.
Oh, I don't remember that. Well, that's good. Let me tell you where that sprouted from. Okay, listening to Swoontower Soccer, right? Shout out Mike, shout out Steph. We love Swoontower. They're doing their fit checks, right? They talk about the players coming to the game, how they're dressed. They break it down. They're all about the boys, right? Mm-hmm. So for FC2, we know that Social put out, kind of the entrance pictures. Those guys were looking dapper, and they commented, I forget which player, but they commented on one of the players wearing circular rimmed glasses. And saying, and I think they were saying like those are coming into style now, and it just made me think, man, he's been on the circular glasses for years.
Come on,
years.
Yeah, come on.
So the Fashionista. There you go.
Like I said, topical.
Well, I guess enough nonsense to start the pod. It is the bye week after all, but it was a busy week or weekend, I guess I should say, for the club, even with the first team on bye. And you mentioned some of those guys. Like, it seemed like they put in a week of training and maybe got the weekend off. You mentioned Alex Ring appeared to have gone back to the homeland, to Finland, visiting some family, I assume, there. Johan Valencia, you said, was in Las Vegas. I'm sure all those guys getting a little R&R, just like you did out at the lake. Mm-hmm. But today, Sunday, Austin FC2, their second match ever, first road match. We got to watch that on Season Pass, so we'll break that down here in a minute. The GA Cup, Generation Adidas Cup, is taking place, kicked off on Saturday morning. The U15s are out there. The U17s are out there. Actually got to watch the U17s take on Pumas on Saturday, so we can talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, we were on bye, but the MLS does not stop. And we've got some games to talk about in that regard. And we got to watch some of those, last night as well. So I guess let's talk about FC2 here, since that was, I think that game finished a little under an hour and a half ago. Up there in, or I should say, taking on Sporting Kansas City 2. And before I guess we get to the lineup and any reactions we may have had, we found out this morning you can bet on Next Pro. There are lines out there. So Austin FC2 came in as favorites here on the road. Lineup came out, only 2 changes, I believe. I think there were 9 of the same 11 in this starting group from match day 1 to match day 2 this afternoon. The 2 big changes, obviously, this one just name-wise stood out. Micah Burton getting his first professional start, wearing the number 7. Looked like he was maybe in there for Cristo Vela, was kind of playing more on the right side of the pitch there in the first half. And then we saw Jonathan Santillan come in kind of in the EJ Johnson spot there on the left. So the rest, again, those 9 same guys, Las in net, Mazzaferro and Keller pairing at center back, Hafferty on the right, Asensio on the left, Noel and Walti, the Pitt Panther connection there. In the midfield, David Rodriguez and Alfonso Ocampo-Chávez also getting the start. Fodre off the bench once again. And then I think there was some other changes. Obviously, like Cristo Vela was not in the team. EJ Johnson was not in the team. So a little bit of rotation there in terms of who they're taking or who they're dressing out on match day. Any thoughts for you when you saw that? And if not, we can just go ahead and get into the match, because I know both of us were able to watch it, or at least most of it.
Really, the only thing that I was excited for in regards to the lineup change was just to see Micah in the first 11 and get a look at him with this club. And also just, the main thing with the lineup as well is monitoring Kip. Obviously, that's like the most important aspect of the FC2 team right now in regard to the club.
The first, like the that pathway right to the first team.
Yes, that's our link right there. So glad to see Kip in there. Happy to see Micah, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, so on the other side, we talked about on the preview last Wednesday that they didn't really have any names that stood out, and there was just that one first-team contract, the keeper. And I actually don't remember if that was the keeper that played tonight. I think McIntosh was his last name. The name that I recognized was Cam Duke, who was out there, I believe, playing left back for SKC2. And that name rung a bell because we have seen him before. Getting red carded and thrown out of the match between Austin FC and SKC last year up there. And so I was kind of wondering, like half joking, like I wonder if he's seen the field for their first team since that red card. Because I was kind of surprised, especially the team like SKC that is struggling still to start this season. I think one of the winless teams in the league. I was kind of surprised to see Duke down there getting some minutes, but I guess I guess maybe most teams have somebody like that where it's like, if you're not going to play this weekend with the first team, why don't we send you down, especially if the second team is at home?
Yeah, and I mean he was one of the players on their side that really just kind of looked the part of being better than the other across from them. A couple other names stood out for me as Moochie is going crazy. There we go. He went camping too, and he's never been this tired in his entire life.
He's a little cranky.
Just slept for like 2 days straight. But was definitely impressed with Rosa that they had on that side. Cisneros as well. Traore was impressive. And I can't even – I don't know if you caught this dude's name in the first half that you caught of the game, but it was like Baba Lawuki or some shit.
I did not hear that one though.
It's funny because I have the minutes for the second half, obviously, and I tried to like spell it, and I just said quit. and have like Baba.
Was it Bagayoko?
I think that was it, yeah.
Bakari Bagayoko. I just pulled up the roster.
Okay, that's him. He was impressive as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team, especially like, I guess we can go ahead and get into the first half here, some of the minutes, because we were able to watch it live. First 15 minutes was like all Austin. And for us to be fairly heavy favorites on the road, the plus 115 in Vegas there, I think plus 190 on the SKC side. Obviously, like going on the road, I felt just on paper from, you know, people who know more about this than us making odds out there. First 15 minutes kind of played out how I thought it would, with Austin on the front foot. 6th minute, Austin wins a free kick just outside the box on the left side. They stand Micah Burton and David Rodriguez over it. Rodriguez ends up taking it. He actually finds an unmarked Kip Keller, who rises up and I thought could have done better to put it on frame, sends it over. But that was also like a welcome reminder of what can happen when you have actual center backs ready to receive a free kick on a set piece. Like being dangerous in the air is something we haven't been for a few weeks now. So 13th minute, really great buildup from the back. Like it looked like one of those plays that we like to highlight when it happens with the first team. You know, 10 plus passes out of the back, ending up with a dangerous chance in the opponent's penalty area. Ended up with Ocampo-Chávez crossing kind of on the ground and finding Noel like right near the spot. And it looked like a KC defender kind of slid in at the last second and got it out for a corner. Like it reminded me a little bit of Rigoni's miss against Montreal, where Kamal Miller slid in. Like very similar play, just coming from the opposite side.
Absolutely. I mean, we were crisp to start the game. We looked really good. I remember texting you and being like, I really enjoy this team. We had a nice little high press going too. They couldn't really settle and get into anything. But obviously, as we're going to keep going through these minutes here, this first half had a very distinct momentum switch in it. And, you know, our hot start did not last very long.
No, it did not. And I think it was kind of around the 20th minute where I think that's kind of where I texted you like, well, this has changed. Like 22nd minute, SKC wins a free kick about 10 yards outside the Austin area on the left. Ball got taken in kind of harmlessly out of the air by Loss. 3 minutes later, another SKC buildup. I wrote just becoming more dangerous. Shot ended up, I didn't see who it was from, but the shot was weak and on the ground, an easy Loss save. And then Cam Duke really starts to make his imprint on this match. 26th minute, intercepts a Kip Keller kind of outlet pass down the side. Now, I think I was encouraged to focus on we want to try to focus on the Austin side of things here as much as possible. I was encouraged to see Kip looking more forward, I thought, at least through this first half of the game. But this pass in particular, Cam Duke kind of just read it, stepped in front of David Rodriguez over there. And then he takes it right back at Keller down the left and kind of tries to cut, you know, what we would say is like take it baseline, but on the end line there. And like Keller ended up ushering it out for a goal kick. And then also like got an emphatic high five from Mazzaferro there. So those two guys certainly like developing a little bit of chemistry back there for the second team. But then in the next minute, SKC just kind of wins it back on the goal kick. And I thought to this point we were pretty solid at the back, but the momentum had shifted and we didn't get it back the rest of the first half.
No, we did not. And their dangerous chances kept kind of coming, and it felt like they were going to get one before the end of the half, but we were fortunate enough to hold on. And, yeah, the leak started to show a little bit in this back line after about that 25-minute mark. Kip was fine. He wasn't anything that, like, stood out one way or the other to me exceptionally. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. They mentioned on the broadcast that maybe something tactically they had figured out after the first 25 minutes and really tried to like put some emphasis on that. I don't know what it was in regard to that tactical switch, if there even was one, but there was a very clear enough shift in the feel of the game that the announcer felt the need to address why it could potentially be happening. And to me, honestly, I thought that we let off of our high press a little bit. And I thought that we let them get a little more comfortable. And again, you know, we came out on the front foot and we were the aggressor. And then obviously throughout the flow of the game, things changed, but they definitely became the aggressive side and were pushing us pretty consistently up that sideline and getting some nice balls behind our back line to get some dangerous crosses in. But we held. And again, another solid half from Las. For sure. Played really well in the back there, especially in the first half. Commanding, he looks good in the air. Large as well. He looks pretty solid. I don't know if that's just compared to the FC2 guys, who obviously you have the younger players in there. But yeah, they were coming, hunting for a goal and weren't able to get it.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the announcers there. I'm not sure. Like, I think those guys are off-site, right?
That would make sense.
Yeah. And regardless, if they're on site, they're either sitting in the whatever kind of booth they got at this field, right? There's not much of one over there at the pitch, kind of just makeshift under a tent at the top of the stands. But if he is remote, then he only has that view that we have just from the one camera. So
correct. I don't know if we will talk about the broadcast at all.
We can.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's from going from watching all the professional sports that we watch. 3,000 different angles you get to look at shit from, and the slow motion replays, to just like someone slowly moving this one shot camera on top of a tripod, just like to the other side of the field. If the announcers aren't there, then they missed out on a pretty good little child fight that was happening on the broadcast. For those who watched, there was like two brothers or siblings, family at the game, obviously out enjoying the nice soccer game, and they're just, hey, ow, you spit on me. Yeah. Hey, why'd you do that? And just getting picked up on the mic just the entire game. Yeah. Little girl yells, "There's a mosquito!
Yeah, kill it!
Kill it!" But then there was like a rusty swing somewhere.
Yeah,
that just in the back.
Do you think that was a swing or something? I thought it might have been one of those because there was a lot of flagpoles on the opposite side of the field from the stands. I thought it might have been one of those. I'm not sure though.
It definitely could have been, and the wind was whipping there.
It was.
As someone who has been to Kansas, the wind is no joke.
Yeah,
for sure. So it could have been something but it sounded like a rusty swing or something going back and forth there. But it was fun. The broadcast was fun. It just very much felt, it was interesting to see the Apple logo on the side while you're watching this match. But yeah, it was fun. So if you're thinking about watching some FC2 games, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously Apple's still working on, like, maybe they're gonna tweak some of the on pitch microphones there, where those are oriented. I would recommend that for the SKC, the next home match there at Rock Chalk Park.
That's right.
I imagine that's close to KU there. I'm glad you heard the mosquito kill it, because I think I typed that in the Los Del Rio Slack. I think PJ, shout out our buddy PJ. He had turned it off. He forgot that the next pro games don't have ties and go to PKs, and so he was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, you're not watching anymore, are you?" Because that was clear as day. I was laughing.
Yeah.
32nd minute, Rosa, who I think you were kind of commenting, you were impressed with him. Received a cross from left to right in the box, tried to kind of one time it off the bounce, I think like a half volley type of deal there. Sent it over the bar, but that was just kind of continuing that SKC momentum. Then I thought Austin towards the end of the first half started to get pretty frustrated. Hafferty, the captain, picks up a yellow. Then 2 minutes later, Micah Burton. A great defensive play to take the ball away in the box from kind of a dangerous buildup. But then Austin kind of turns it over again out there on the left side, and he picks up a yellow. So, 39 minutes into his first professional appearance in the book, with the yellow card there. And then off that free kick, Damian Loss had to kind of tap that over the bar out for another corner. That ensuing corner headed towards the net and Loss with the diving save. So again, I had to go work during the second half. So you will pretty much take us through that. But I thought for the first half, Damian Loss impressed me again, or at least did nothing to make me think I should, be less high on him after that first match that I got to watch in person. We'll get to the second half in a minute, but how was Loss overall for you?
Probably one of our best players. I thought he was great. The goal that they get in the second half, obviously I got to see one replay of it, but probably could have had a better effort on that one. It just looked like he didn't have a great angle or vantage point. There was a lot of bodies and the ball probably snuck out from that cluster and just caught him off guard a little bit. But yeah, definitely tried to make a point of how impressive he looked. Another great outing for him. In regard to Burton, man, he was asking for it. I thought he was asking to get a red because he does. Then he had like another hard foul after that.
Yep.
And after he has the foul, he like spikes the ball. It goes out of bounds. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like, calm down, So he was pretty non-existent, honestly. Yep. He really didn't do much. He has the hard foul take. And I mean, for those who watched it, he was really towing the line of getting sent off in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah. I had this my last note from that first half was in stoppage time. Burton, another foul, visible frustration, slamming the ball down, gets a talking to from the official. And I'm again on a yellow. And it, like, I guess from an overall Burton performance standpoint, first professional game, you're out there. We talked about like the competition just within your own team, but now you're going up against guys when these games count. It's not practice anymore with the professionals. Now you're going up against these guys like Cam Duke. That was his matchup for a lot of the first half, and that's tough to be thrown in there right to a guy who has MLS minutes, right? I mean, guy has his own red card in MLS with the first team. So I thought he just looked like a guy that just came out of the academy and, starting near the bottom of the totem pole again. And I think that's good for him.
I agree.
Right? Like you got to go through some of that adversity and some of that frustration to build yourself up for when that's going to happen to you when you get up with the first team eventually.
Absolutely. To actualize the ultimate form of his career, him as a player, he definitely needs some of this. And that was an interesting thing. I was like, maybe he has a little more leash when he's playing with refs elsewhere because he's such a big name, obviously a great prospect. Sure. And I was like, man, you're really testing this ref right now, particularly because I thought the first two yellows weren't overly like egregious fouls. The Hafferty one kind of comes out of nowhere, and Burton, and then he has another tackle that he makes.
Burton?
I think it's in the second half, right before he comes out, and he takes just a really hard swipe at the ball and kind of picks this dude's pocket, but also just knocks him on his ass. And I was like, man, he's got to come out. Right. And I think he does come out pretty soon after this play. But yeah, if you want to get into the second half, I can pull up what I got here.
No, yeah. You take us through it because again, I had to work for that hour, and the fact that it did go to PKs, I got to catch the last like 4 or 5 PKs just in time for the the Mosquito death. But yeah, we had, what was it? Louis Jean comes in for Santillan at the half. Yep.
Okay, that's good because I was wondering who that was because I did not catch the names there when they did it real quick at the start of the half.
Yeah.
This second half really sees the game open up a lot. A lot more chances, a lot more fluid play. The teams both are really going for a goal. They both felt like they deserved one. And it kind of comes fast and furious right from the rip here. So we get the sub at the start of the half. I don't remember the build-up exactly, but a corner kick for SKC at the 47 minute. Over the top of the bar with the header. But again, just an attempt that was a good look. And there was quite a few balls in this game that sailed over the top of the bar. I don't know if it was nerves on either side, but some attempts that could have had, you know, a better finish on it. But again, just us getting beat in the air, solid set piece from SKC, and they get a solid attempt at a solid look at the net there. Nothing too threatening, but just kind of set the tone for the rest of the half as well. Moving on to the 48th minute, we get a Jackson Walti yellow. I have here in parentheses soft. I thought it was pretty soft. Although
kind of sticking with the first half, the official being consistent with the soft yellows, I guess.
Yeah. And then just got to learn some really cool things about Walti from the broadcast there after he gets this foul.
Oh, really?
Talk about like his childhood and growing up. And apparently he like grew up in France, Switzerland, India, like 2 more countries, maybe if I'm mistaken. Like he's fluent in French, fluent in French, fluent in English. Fluent in French. He's got a house in Switzerland. Apparently his dad is some large executive for Nestle, so he has to move around all the time. But a very interesting kind of backstory on him provided by the announcer there, and talks about his late arrival to the U.S. to go to high school, so he didn't really have too many offers coming out. So he walked on at Pitt.
And then became the captain, right?
Yeah, he walked on and became the captain, and you know, just it was cool to hear about that. And just a weak yellow card. I'm pretty sure he comes to his back a little bit. Didn't think there was enough there for a yellow, but called it.
Well, okay, so first of all, that's interesting because Valentin Noel is French, so that just makes even more sense why those guys are such good friends and work. Like I think the game and a half that I've watched of those two. And not including the preseason minutes we saw from them over with FC2, makes sense that they have such a good connection because he speaks French too. I didn't know that.
They're a nice little pairing for sure.
Also, I really enjoy from Walti's game, just from these first 2 games, his ability, or at least knack, his like desire to move the ball forward and fire these long balls to our speedy wingers. And try to create chances that way. It's, you know, maybe it's just because like that's how like I play fucking FIFA or something, but like I like the fast break chances and like trying to get those looks, create something out of nothing. I thought he was opportunistic during the first half that I got to see.
I felt like he was probably the one who was delivering those balls the most, but they were coming pretty consistently across the board, and we were getting good chances streaking up the sideline, particularly in the second half here. 51st minute, Traore. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know.
We don't do that here. We try, but
he puts a couple moves on our back line. I can't remember if it was Mazzaferro or not, but just beat like 2 guys in a very tight space. Lays off a pass that ends up getting going over the top bar. Gets deflected out of bounds for an SKC corner. Another corner comes in. This ball over top of the crossbar again. They're really fast and furious here. 55th minute, Traore comes down the left side, I believe, again. Great control with the ball. Beats 2 people, maybe 3 on this left side to get into the box. We deal with it, handle it. Ball comes out. 56th minute, their first yellow to Cruz. Pretty much exactly in line with the prior yellows. Not a whole lot there, but gave it to him there, which I appreciated. Set piece for ATX here on the 57th minute off of that yellow, right outside the 18, really. I believe, again, it is Rodriguez, I want to say, on the ball.
It makes sense. He took the first one, right?
And I have it, just worst kick I've ever seen. Bro, it was
worse than Christian Pulisic trying to have a sufficient corner in the World Cup.
I mean, Pulisic's balls were just like short.
Yeah, this was
it looked like he kicked a beach ball. This shit just like it was so far over the net. Oh my God. I was like, all right, well, that was
Well,
pretty amazing.
I mean, it's been all positives from David Rodriguez to this point. So the guy's got to have one kick every now and then. That's, not impressive, I guess.
Correct. So because they didn't call this foul in this Burton play, I don't have it written down anywhere, but it was a really nice tackle on his end. I just thought it was really towing the line, kind of reckless with how he approached it. And then we get Ramirez and Fodre in for Burton and Walti at the 58th minute. And CJ makes his impact felt pretty much immediately. And he comes in the game and he's confident. You can tell he wants the ball. He wants to push it up the field. He wants to get good scoring chances. He gets a nice run on the left side. They slide it in there. It's just an inch too far. Keeper's coming out. If he had just an inch, just to tap it to the outside, because keeper had fully committed to sliding into him, he would have been able to score. But just a little behind it, slides into the keeper. Nothing happens, no foul, nothing like that, because the ball was genuinely, 50-50 right there. Anyone could have had it. Kind of a bang play. 61st minute, they go ahead and sub out. SKC takes out Traore, who had been giving us fits, and I forget his name already, Bakayoko.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I want to get this right because this Bakayoko. Okay. I like your attempt in the notes here.
There's 38 B's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Traore comes out and Bakayoko for Vidal, and I did not catch who this other individual was who came in the game here, but Cam Vidal comes into the game, and kind of the same situation with CJ, really makes his impact felt. Somebody who you saw when he was on the pitch, really wanted the ball, wanted chances to score.
Well, he's the goal scorer, right?
Yes, he eventually scores the goal. 62nd minute, great build up along the left side for ATX. Shot on net, rebounds off the keeper. I do not recall who it went to, but they absolutely had a chance to just fire it right back and at the net and probably would have scored. Instead, it was a bit of a bouncing ball coming off that rebound from the keeper. I don't know if it had any sort of spin on it that made whoever got this rebound feel a little uncomfortable shooting it, but settles the ball, drops a back pass off to, I believe, Rodriguez again, and takes a shot, and not a great one. Really should have scored. Sails it high over the crossbar again. It was point blank and tough. That was a really tough one because that frustration started to creep back in for this team because they definitely felt like they should have scored here. Early in the game, we had, I think, 0.6 expected goals within that first 15 minutes of that game.
How about them having live XG on the broadcast for a next pro game with one camera? I don't how does that work? I don't get it.
I mean, you know how we deal with expected goals. It's
everybody's favorite stat.
Yeah. Okay. So
do you think? I was gonna say, do you think that frustration building again for Austin is what maybe led to a breakdown on the counterattack for this goal?
No.
Okay.
Again, we should have scored. I have it right here. 64th minute. One of those balls that you had been talking about earlier. Change the field. Kind of gets a run onto it. It's Rodriguez on the right side. I think it came from Louis John, I believe.
2 E's.
Great look on the net, shoots it right at the keeper, and they throw it out and they're off, and they go back down the other side of the pitch. Vidal kind of finds the ball. The ball finds him in a bit of a congested area in the center here. And like I said earlier, with Loss getting scored on, ball's on the ground, which is always tough for a keeper. Low, he kept it low on the ground, bottom right corner of the net. And I think Loss just did not have a good beat on the ball from where it was coming from to position himself well enough to get a hand on this. And he just misses it, goes in the back of the net. Austin is down 1-0. Cam Vidal obviously makes his presence felt pretty early and powerfully there. And but again, this team, you know, we saw it in the Houston game, down 1-0 in a tough situation, and really fought hard, stayed composed and resilient. And that's what they did here. Couple subs for SKC again. Cone out for Ethan Bryant, who came in and I just really looked at and was like, man, we should be taking it to this dude.
Yeah.
He came in the game and it
toss
was
this guy up.
It was like he had one of his first few touches or plays that was like, okay, like we have guys who are way better than you. You look a little scared right now. Like you just fresh into the game. We got to attack you here. And we start to do that. I think it was, you know, I mean, I noticed it from the broadcast. I feel like the players probably could have smelled it as well, obviously on the pitch. CJ wins us a corner, and this is where we get our goal here in the 73rd minute.
Yeah. As CJ, I think the one highlight that's out there, the team did post the goal from the corner.
Yeah, it was an interesting goal. CJ left-footed, right? Yes. So he takes this corner on the left with his left. High arcing ball, a lot of time to get underneath of it. Ocampo-Chávez gets up in the air, puts it back into the fray. And, Noel. Noel, with the initial header, puts it back in towards the fray, towards Ocampo-Chávez, who gets enough on it, and it kind of just like a home run ball. It's going the back, like towards the wall. Sporting guy gets a head on it, but he just hits it into the post and drops down into the net. And there we go, 1-1. And then right after that, Ocampo-Chávez is subbed out for Pinot.
Yeah. Sebastian Pinot again.
Yeah, Sebastian Pinot, who I was impressed with. Thought he looked good as soon as he came onto the pitch, and you know, really just kind of a testament to the depth of this roster and the amount of exciting young players we actually have on this squad. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like you right now. I'm talking at you. Fired. You got anything you want to sprinkle in here? Anything sprinklage?
I mean, I guess the only thing I want to know about the remaining, 13-ish minutes, I guess two things. After we equalized, did Austin ever end up getting back on the front foot? Because it sounds like that the goal just kind of sprung out of a reaction from SKC scoring. Like that seemed to maybe wake us up. But again, like the goal was, I'm not going to say fluky, but you know, you had to hit the right angles there to get that one to go. Did the team respond and keep pushing for that second goal? And then you also noted that Valentin Noel got hurt at the end.
Yep.
Did that look like it was anything serious or just kind of got banged up?
I think they checked him for a concussion.
Okay, gotcha.
He takes a really hard foul, kind of just sprints, runs into the side of the guy, and I don't know if he raises his arm up at the last moment accidentally or just hits him right in the shoulder, but he instantly goes down while committing the foul. And he was down. And then this new rule in the next pro where it's like if you're down for 15 seconds, you either have to be subbed out or you're out for 3 minutes. Yeah. So they subbed him out, got him in the concussion protocol. But to answer your initial question, no. 77th minute, another corner, take it long ball, blast it over the side, settle it really well. Rodriguez, give and go. Gets it right back from, I believe, again, Louis John, who looked really nice as well. And another great attempt on the keeper and doesn't put it away. And that was probably the last good chance for Austin. In the 85th, we have another corner, bouncing ball, kind of bouncing around the box. Bad strike, had a little spin on it, couldn't get up over top of it, and just kind of rolls it right to the keeper. But again, another opportunity. The net, plenty of net to look at from the angle that we had there, and just put it away. 2 more attempts for Vidal in the 88th and the 90th. Like I said, he was really haunting goals there. Took a strike from, maybe 4 yards outside the 18, sailed it over the top right corner. But again, just somebody who you could tell, is a goal scorer and probably has a promising future, either with SKC or somewhere.
So we end up tied going to PKs, right?
Correct.
I think I missed the first two for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Who scored first for us? It was Alonso Ramirez.
Alonso Ramirez steps up. Great strike. Goal. Cam Vidal for them. Goal. Loss was on it.
Mm-hmm. I still have the SKC roster in front of me. I'm gonna correct you. It's Pau Vidal, and the only reason I want to bring that up is shout out Pau Gasol, Hall of Famer as of this weekend. So Pau Vidal also Spanish.
Okay.
So there's your hoops connection for the day.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. Yeah, I guess I got him mixed up with Duke.
Yeah, with Cam Duke. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Vidal comes up. Goal. Loss was on it. CJ comes up. Just like super cool, confident. I was like, oh yeah, like he's gonna bang this, like put this away. Left-footed strike, and he went to the right corner. Low, keeper was right on it. Easy save.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you come in there? I don't have who scored for SKC after CJ had his shot saved.
Yeah, I mean, I came in right after they had gone up 2-1, and then I think Louis Jean comes in and he misses wide left.
Louis Jean misses wide left, low shot. Keeper didn't have to save it. And yeah, now we're down 2 here.
Because then their guy hit the crossbar and it bounced down and in.
Yep. Rips the crossbar, bounces down, hits behind the line and goes in. And yeah, that was about it.
Hey, you get that bounce at home, man. You get that bounce at home.
In Lawrence, Kansas. That was Rosa. Ariano steps up for us. Goal there.
Yeah.
And then Flores for SKC puts it away with his goal. Austin goes down 4-2 there.
I also did like to see Ariano go over to Las after he scored and kind of try, pump him up, try to keep the game alive. But again, I think, the way this works in Next Pro, right, where now they split 2 points for the tie and you win the shootout and you get that extra point, which is interesting. Like if you look like at the records for Next Pro teams, now there's not just 3 numbers, there's 4 numbers because they have the shootout wins tacked on the end there. I don't think from hearing how you saw the second half, from what I saw in the first half, I think it's fine. It's the first road test for this team. They haven't been playing together that long, especially since all those first teamers just came down last week on loan. They signed those, the amateur players, including Louis Jean, who I don't think has he was not in our academy or anything. So coming from the outside in, you saw little flashes, I think, of the dangerous team we saw last week, especially in the second half against Houston. But then you saw a little bit of the disjointed nature of a team who is just getting started on their first season ever on the road for the first time. So I think all in all, a decent outing. You get points on the road in MLS. It's a good outing for the most part. And so I imagine it's similar here in Next Pro. We should feel okay about that.
Yeah, I feel okay with it. It wasn't like a game that we really deserved to win. It wasn't a game that we really deserved to lose either. And, you get to the shots on the mark, and it really is just kind of a toss up there. And they came out on top, but a lot of promising things for this squad. And I mean, in that second half, we had several chances to put put another one in the back of the net. And get the 3 points, but that's the way it goes. I really enjoyed watching the team. I'm super excited to watch more of them.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, it gets extremely busy here in the month of April for FC2. We're back home this Friday. Double revenge game, Tacoma Defiance coming to town, the former team of not just captain Joe Hafferty, but also Alfonso Ocampo-Chávez. So I imagine both of those guys will have a little bit of extra juice for this one. It's Friday, 7 p.m. out there at the pitch. So hopefully we see another packed house and all of our friends there at Palmer Field. Then a double game week following that. I mentioned it gets very busy. All 3 of these coming matches are at home. So I believe it's Tacoma on Friday. And then I think, who is it in the middle of the week? I'm sorry, I don't have the schedule pulled up anymore, but I know St. Louis City too is in there over the next 2 weeks. So plenty of chances to go see FC2 in the next 2 weeks. If you haven't gotten out there, definitely encourage you to do so. Go check it out. See what Next Pro is all about. See what FC2 is all about. Cheer those boys on. And again, like we said earlier, Generation Adidas Cup going on right now. U15s, U17s out there on Saturday. I guess so. How this works: group stage, 3 games for each team, and then I think top 16 U15s and U17s go to a knockout bracket, and then the teams that don't qualify for the bracket will play, I think, like 4 showcase games is what they call it. So I think you just kind of get mixed and matched against other teams that don't qualify. U15s on Saturday beat the Revolution, New England Revolution U15s. So got off to a good start. Then the U17s were playing against Pumas, and that was one of the featured matches for Apple TV. So that game was actually broadcast. That one, got to watch that one. Irvin Torres wearing the 10, Joe Arena wearing the 7. So my first time watching a lot of these guys play. Drake Fournier was out there wearing 19. We got to see him play against Roots Academy back in February. Spencer Sanderson was in goal over Charlie Reed. I believe Charlie Reed was the starter last year. So not quite sure the dynamic there, but I thought Sanderson had a good game. And then 2 other guys that obviously, Isaiah Garza scored the first goal. Then Pumas ends up equalizing, and then right after that, Garza brace to secure the 2-1 win. I also Kamau Brahim also noticed him a lot. He was wearing the number 8. Thought that kid was pretty physical, good size. Looked like a promising young player as well. So I don't think that. I guess I should say that U15s then today on Sunday, U15s beat Club America 2-0, so they're undefeated. I think it's guaranteed if you win all 3 group stage matches, you get in. I think there's like 10 groups, so you can potentially be second in your group and get through. So U17s lost on Sunday to Atlanta United's U17s 0-0 in regular time, and then lose 5-4 in PKs. So yeah, tough break there. Hard fought match against them. We know that the Atlanta Academy is above average, I think, in MLS. Both Wolf boys at one point, Tyler Wolf, who's still there in Atlanta, and I believe Owen Wolf before coming to Austin was part of that academy. So obviously U15's a win away from knockout play, and I believe all the knockout games will be on MLS Season Pass. So I hope that they get through to the knockout stage so we can watch them. And then hopefully U17s who take on NYCFC on Monday can get a big win there and hopefully sneak in as a second place team to the knockouts. U15s tomorrow is against Columbus. Okay. So keeping an eye on that GA Cup. It was really fun to get to, be able to watch those U17s for real. And I'd say, man, Joe Arena, we've talked a lot about Reynas on the podcast over the last few months, but he was good, man. He's carrying that name. He had a couple moments where it was like, ooh, okay, he's a Reyna. And then again, shout out Isaiah Garza for the brace there, helping the team get the dub.
Absolutely. Did you see McConaughey's little message to him?
I did. Yeah, we retweeted that. That was cool. The Minister of Culture just talking to the Academy boys night before I think the Cup started. So
that was great.
Always cool to see him get involved.
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously he's such a staple with UT. It's really cool to see him
give that type of speech. Yeah.
Shift over to the Austin side and be getting in on the ground floor with these kids. That's awesome. Also, I'm watching True Detective season 1 right now.
So you're getting all kinds of McConaughey.
It's the best performance in television history.
History? Well,
yeah. For one season.
One season?
One season of television is the greatest season of television in history, and his character he's just amazing.
Okay. But, we'll see if anybody has any pushback on that. I won't make an argument now. Because what I want to talk about is the one bit of Austin FC news, not confirmed yet, but the rumor is Julio Cascante getting a contract extension. First reported. Let me get the journalist out of Costa Rica. I just want to, make sure we give credit where it is due. Scrolling through a lot of posts here. It was Kevin Jimenez out of Costa Rica says Julio Cascante will sign a contract extension with Austin FC through 2025 with the club option for the 2026 season. This on the back of a post that Julio himself made the day before, getting some individual work in at training, saying with the caption, "Getting there." So obviously it's just like a good way to end the week with great Julio vibes, working his way back from the injury that kind of, I think started us on this downhill turn to start the season, or at least what feels like we're going downhill, right? That's kind of the mood, regardless of how dire one thinks it may be. But then to have him locked up, again, he may not be your slam dunk number one center back in this league, but he's pretty damn good for a number two. And for us, we've called out Julio for, how many times a ball goes through his legs or he makes a mistake here and there. And sure, he's got mistakes in him, but I think the last 5 weeks have proven, like, I think it was Eric Goodman over at the Chronicle. I think he said that Austin FC got one whiff of life without Julio Cascante and decided they did not like it. I don't think I could have put it better than he did there. So any thoughts for you on Julio?
Super happy for Julio. Obviously him getting that extension is huge. And yeah, I was thinking about that earlier because when this injury first happened, right? Looking at Kip Keller now, where Kip is and what's happening with him, it's like, was he ready to be put into the position that he was just thrusted into 10 minutes into the opening match of the season for this team? And I was like, yeah, he probably was. Obviously he played last year at the start, and got some spot work as well. But yeah, this Julio injury sent this season on a completely different trajectory than we were initially scheduled for. I can't wait for him to be back. And like you mentioned earlier about seeing some center backs in some air, with plays in the air.
Yeah.
Julio's great in the air.
Yeah. He's
a huge part of our corner set pieces in the air. I think everything that he brings to the squad in regard to his grittiness, his toughness, he's dying to play. Like I'm super excited for him to get back. And, this team is going to look really different when he gets back. We're going to get guys back into their regular position. We'll have a little more depth. So yeah, super excited for Julio, super excited to get him back. Hope he enjoys that money, heals that groin up, do whatever you got to do, get in the hyperbaric chamber. Yeah. Go see the LeBron James of feet.
She go see the LeBron James of abdomen injuries. I'll shout out Teru on Twitter, whose display name is Porque No Rodney. I think that's a Maxi Urruti reference. End of last season, Teru had tweeted, what a year Julio Cascante had. Not only led the league in goals added for center backs at home, but led Austin FC in goals added all season with a minimum of 1,000 minutes played. Top 3 players last season for Austin in goals added: Julio, Seba, Ruben. So again, to your point about, how important he is to this team, and especially on the offensive end, that threat that he adds to our roster. Can't wait to have him back. That much is obvious.
Yes.
Let's close it out here with a quick spin around MLS Week 6 results. Talk about some of those, how some games broke. I think we had multiple Schadenfreude experiences watching the games last night. We'll start here. St. Louis City, no longer undefeated, brought down a peg by Minnesota. There's only so much we can say. At some point, they were going to lose. They are still in first, not just in the West, but in the Shield standings. So that just kind of further highlights how impressive their start was. But it was nice to see. Like, I am annoyed by how much I don't like them already. a month and a half in. But like, it is what it is, and I'm, I let the hate flow through me. So
I forget what conversation or thread was happening online, but Kevin Morris was in it, and basically it was like someone talking about how they've already unlocked the entire MLS and like had it all figured out, and like you could take a German team from the 17th division, and as long as you have a coach who knows, I was like, all right. But I mean, still, of all the teams that they've beaten, and they lose to Minnesota here, who also has not lost.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It'll be fun to look back at this standings, when we're in the depths of this season later on.
Yeah. Yeah. Summer, fall, looking back on how we felt now. Some things are probably going to be similar, but a lot of them are going to be like, man, remember when we thought this or this team, looked so good or looked terrible? You mentioned Minnesota, one of the 3 unbeaten teams left in MLS alongside FC Cincinnati and LAFC. LAFC, though, draw with Colorado on the road. And like, I understand elevation and everything like that, the challenge that is playing there or at RSL. But still, like, they played their starters last night, man. And they, we know they have CCL coming up this week, first leg against Vancouver. We'll talk about LAFC obviously a lot on Wednesday, previewing the match coming up on Saturday. But again, it's just a perspective you can have is that, look, LAFC went full go at these guys and only came away with a point. So it's, we want to win. We want 3 points at home, but to get that point, and like B has said, Brian, that is from We Are Us and TV, we were 5 minutes away or thereabouts from pulling off 3 points without any center back. So again, that doesn't make us feel any better because we didn't get 3 points and this and that. But again, this league is crazy. The parity in MLS, Colorado getting a point off LAFC there. Didn't help our bets. We didn't go over this week, but we'll talk about the bets on Wednesday as well. Columbus Crew rolling 10 goals over their last 2 matches. 4-1 win against, who did they play last night? Salt Lake 4-0 actually, not 4-1.
Yeah, all it took for them was to lose Cucho.
Right, fuck. God damn it.
10 goals in 2 games because the player we drafted from their team got hurt.
Yeah. who didn't have a goal to his name before he went out. All right, well, I was going to say more good things about the Crew, but now I don't want to. Let's get back to more of the schadenfreude here because FC Dallas gives up a stoppage time goal to the Portland Timbers at home, dropping points. We love to see it.
We had some really delicious cupcakes last night for AG's birthday, but I do think that was the sweetest thing that I got to savor last night.
Is that the first time we've high-fived over a soccer match that wasn't Austin?
Hell no.
Is it? I mean, what other soccer? USA, I guess?
USA for sure. And you got to count FIFA.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, FIFA does count. FIFA does count for sure.
We're only here because of FIFA.
Oh yeah, we celebrated that one. We also celebrated Houston taking a road loss. I mean, at San Jose, they went and they competed. I'm annoyed by this Amin Bassi guy, man. 3rd straight game that he gets a PK goal, inflating the stats, just like goddamn. Plus the fact that he did the Maxi celebration. Fuck that guy.
No, don't. Yeah, no, he's on the list.
He's on the list. Okay,
he's on the list.
I'm glad you're with me there. And then I guess we can kind of close it out here in terms of the week 6 stuff. Jordan Morris scores again. He's got 8 goals.
8.
Yeah. Second is still Joao Klaus with 5. Just to further illustrate how crazy his start to the season was. Obviously, 4 in 1 match will help that number, but guy continues to score. You take that game away, he's still on 4, and that would be second in the league. So Jordan Morris, I mean,
remember back in the off-season pods when we did the lines, and mine was who will score what over under most goals scored by one player in a game, and I said Did I put it 3.5 or 4.5?
I think you did 4.5, and I said under.
Yeah,
I will take. I would have said it at 3.5.
Yeah.
Holy cow! And the fact that he's playing at the 9 for them because Heber is out and Ruidaz has been banged up. Ruidaz comes in off the bench, but like Morris playing out of position too. It's just, my God, what a start!
Yeah, they're
embarrassment of riches there in Seattle. Two things I guess we wanted to touch on last week, but we just kind of kept talking about Austin FC at length and pushed them back. First one, real quick, MLS All-Star Game, no longer against Liga MX. Makes sense because the Leagues Cup is right there. But so MLS All-Stars will play Arsenal in DC for the All-Star Game. So I'm sure Arsenal fans probably pumped up for that. Maybe a couple Arsenal fans from the Austin community going out to see that one. You know, I don't know if there's what kind of comparison it was, but if like the Spurs came to play my favorite team when I was living overseas, I'm definitely going to see them. So it'd be pretty cool for Arsenal fans, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Honestly, it takes what little importance I put on the MLS All-Star Game. Like I enjoyed the rivalry, but now that we have Leagues Cup and I'm just kind of going back to, I'll probably just watch it because I'm a DGen and like, if we have a player or multiple players there, like I think Stuver right now has the strongest case, to be honest. Second in the league, I think, in terms of prevented goals, expected prevented goals, right behind Yarborough.
Most saves too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or going into last night, he was tied for the most, but obviously now sitting out, I think fell behind there. But
you think Danny's anywhere in a conversation for that? Giving his numbers right now?
No, but I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I don't think anybody who's got a vote or any like casual fan is saying Danny Pereira. You know? Yeah. Even like shout out Jake Parsons. He got his question on Extra Time this week asking about Danny Pereira, and those fuckers just like basically glossed over and were like, he was already good last year. So it's like, yeah, but he's better this year, at least so far. Anyway,
playing really well.
We don't need to get started on those Extra Time guys and Achilles injuries and all that stuff. Last thing here, we close it out. How do you feel about this news that there is potential for all MLS franchises to chip in and pay the salary of Lionel Messi if he was to come stateside? Because I know, just real quick for how I feel about it, like I don't really want my club to be paying anything for Messi to go play at another club. I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
Although there was some important historical context that I was made privy to. Okay. That apparently when Clint Dempsey came back stateside and joined the Sounders, all of the clubs paid for that as well. And I guess it's just a calculation by the owner saying, like, it is more profitable for us over the long haul to have a player to upgrade the standard of the league, the view of the league, not just nationwide, but globally, by adding a player that, you know, I think at that point, Clint Dempsey was a guy that could enhance the status of the league, obviously. Maybe not obviously, but I don't think a Clint Dempsey type, even at his height, would really do that these days. But Messi, I could get the argument. I'm still not for it. But if that's what it takes and, like, all the owners are in agreement, then I guess I'm not going to, like, sit here and cry about it. But it feels weird, even just as a concept.
Yeah, it feels insane. No, fuck that, dude.
Okay.
Like, what? We're going to be up there paying $14 for a beer and know that part of this money is going so Leo Messi can just run circles around our team.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. You got me back on it. I'm fully on the fuck that side there.
Yeah, what?
I want my beers on our field, not Inter Miami's.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well then everyone gets one of these guys, all right? Let's just go around and start
plugging. Or we get them for one game.
Okay. Oh.
Everybody gets them for a game.
Everybody
or 2 games.
Gets
whatever.
Them for a game. $88 million later, he goes back to Argentina.
All right, I guess that'll do it here. Sunday night edition, episode 43 of the North End podcast. Happy you joined us. We really appreciate it. If you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the pod, wherever you get your podcast, we would appreciate that as well. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to know when a new live stream pops up or an episode goes live. And of course, for this episode, hit that thumbs up button, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. And we would appreciate that as well. We'll be back on Wednesday previewing Austin FC's road match against LAFC. Revenge. This is where our season ended last year. Let's go make a statement. We'll talk about that Wednesday. We'll preview Austin FC 2's match against Tacoma Defiance. Maybe some tickets to hand out. I don't know. We'll talk about that and we'll see. But again, thanks for being with us here on the North End podcast. We will talk to you on Wednesday. He's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.